guys and gals. We are outside of Mountain Home, Arkansas, on one of these big lakes. It's either Norfolk or Bull Shoals. I think Norfolk. I'll have to look on the map. But we came in here after dark and found a, well, I'll show you. It's like a little, at one time it was like a little camping spot, probably just more like a picnic area, not really meant for overnight camping, but it's pretty much abandoned now, really bad shape. No upkeep for, you know, more than just the season. Looks like no one's really used it in a long time. And we found a nice little level spot with a nice little view to sleep last night. Let me show you around. I'm curious about these floating boathouses. I wonder, do they have permits for those, or is it just kind of a rebel thing? You just go tie up to the bank. If anyone knows, comment below, please. I'll show you guys this little picnic area. So there's like a parking lot right here. And then you can come down here, have yourself a little picnic. I'll show you where we ended up. This ended up being a great spot. Nice and level and quiet. Oh, it's so quiet out here. Dark, quiet. And here's our little picnic table that is attached to. You can see no one's really using this stuff anymore. Guys and gals, so we are driving over to Kentucky from the Ozarks, and we plotted a kind of an interesting route. It's riding these ridges across the Ozarks here, and it's beautiful. It just comes into these little small towns once in a while, and it's fun. It's fun driving. It's like, if you enjoy, well, I mean, it would be better on a motorcycle, of course, right? But being in a little zippy car, just cruising along on these twisties, these ups and downs and twisties, is really fun. And it's a beautiful day. It's probably heading towards 55 today is my guess. Best day we've seen in quite a while, so. This is one of the narrowest bridges you will ever go across, guys. I don't know how trucks do it. We went under here about a year ago. Oh man, I miss being on the river. You've heard me say it in my videos that when I go under these bridges...
Welcome to Illinois.
I'm always thankful that I'm not on the bridge, I'm going under it, but this time we're going over it. We'll be back on the water soon. Well guys, we've got some kind of backup going on here on the bridge that's going across the Ohio River over into, I think, Cairo. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there was an accident or something, but why don't we just go walk around then? I was lucky that we got backed up in a spot where we could just turn into this little rest area here. So we'll walk Wavey around and go read this sign. So maybe we can learn a little something about history.
Oh hi, I'm Wavy Gravy, star of the channel. If you want to hear more about the Lewis and Clark expedition, when they camped on where the Mississippi and the Ohio converge, and they did all sorts of cool stuff, we were actually kind of surprised. Why don't you go over to the backup channel after this video is done and check it out. Thanks!
When I read plaques like that, it reminds me just how hard lives used to be, even just 100 years ago, which is a drop in the bucket of time. Imagine your job is running land detachments of captured Cherokee prisoners out to the new Indian territories. I mean, that job description sounds horrible. And that's just one of 1,000 that we could think about. I say this mostly because I can so easily slip into a mindset where I'm like, oh, I'm not getting everything I want out of life, and oh, my life sucks, and I wish that I could do this and do that. It's just the relativity of life is really fascinating to me. Does that make sense? If so, got any thoughts? I just realized we're at the entrance to Fort Defiance State Park, and I know we went by it on the shanty boat last year. That's basically the very southern tip of Illinois when you turn off the upper Mississippi and onto the Ohio, beating up against the current to Paducah. Why don't we go down here and see what we can see? This is a familiar sight, just viewed a little differently. Here's the very tip of Illinois, literally right there. This is the Mississippi. It just keeps going around that corner into the lower Mississippi. You make this corner, and you're in the Ohio. And it goes for 1,000 miles all the way up to Pittsburgh area. Let's go see what this plaque says. It says, proceeding on, in November 1803, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark and their growing contingent of Corps of Discovery men spent 5 days here teaching each other celestial navigation and surveying skills. Using a sextant, octant, artificial horizon, and reference tables, they successfully obtained the first longitude and latitude data that they would use during the expedition. Subsequent maps of the northern and western portions of the United States prepared using Lewis and Clark's data began at the confluence of these great rivers, which in 1803 were located just south of 2nd Street in present-day Cairo. Let's go up in this thing if we can. Looks pretty cool. Okay, cool. You gonna keep going? You wanna go back here? Let's go back here. I like the complete lack of safety on this thing. Kind of feels like they just gave up on that. Like, use it at your own risk. Go ahead. Got an even better view up here. Nice. Well, that was a nice little stop that we wouldn't have done except for that backup on the bridge. It must be rush hour right now. I've never seen this bridge backed up like this.
Forest Tramper just lives a few miles from the Cumberland Falls, which I think is as far as you can go on the Cumberland River before, well, it's like, you know, to be navigable. So, yeah, we're way up here in eastern Kentucky. Let me go see if I can find some good footage for you. I'll read this to you real quick. Cumberland Falls Moonbow. The moonbow that appears here is the only one in the Western Hemisphere. It may be observed under a full moon and a clear sky. An arch of white light is usually produced at base of falls and continues downstream. Generations of people have visited here to see this natural phenomenon. Last hotel on this site, Moonbow Inn, was named for the moonbow. Looks like there might be some more viewing spots over here. I don't know if the camera's picking it up well, but it's like emerald green. It's a beautiful color. It's gorgeous. Oh, look, Dog Slaughter Falls. Wavey, think we just found your fate. This tablet is erected under the auspices of the Optimist Club of Louisville and other grateful citizens in appreciation of T. Coleman DuPont and his family whose magnificent gift made Cumberland Falls in all its natural beauty the possession of Kentucky, Mr. DuPont's native state, October 15th, 1932. Oh yeah, this is a nice spot to view it. Very pretty. Well, this is the time to come here if you want to stay away from the crowds, that's for sure. Oh, there's an eagle. Let me see if I can catch it. There it is. See that, guys? That is always a good sign. So when you ask Google Maps to take you on a bicycle route to a location, it'll often try to give you a really good scenic route. I mean, you could take the time to kind of map it out yourself, but, you know, who has time for that? So this is what it's given us so far. And this is much better than just jumping on I-75 and heading north towards Michigan. I don't, you know, people talk about like rural poverty, and you know, I get it. But what is it about, like, collecting a junkyard a backyard full of cars and, you know, just garbage everywhere? And I'm not putting anybody down. I know it sounds like I'm being, you know, harsh and critical. I'm not. It's a genuine question. I don't quite understand it. I mean, that one's actually not bad. You know, not a lot of garbage around, and that one's not bad either. But some of these, it just looks like a garbage bomb went off. Garbage. Well, good morning, guys and gals, and Wavy Gravy in her little perch. So this morning, we stayed at a truck stop last night. We just rode on Interstate 75 for a couple hours last night, and then stopped and found a nice little spot to metal tent camp. And this morning, after coffee, I punched into Google Maps bicycle route heading north to the next Nosy Beagle interview. I'll leave that a surprise. And it's taking us on this back roads here in Indiana. So that's like my favorite travel hack right now, is if you don't want to put a bunch of work into like mapping your route and staying off the interstates and stuff, just put in bicycle. Just tell Google you're on a bicycle, and a good 80% of the time it'll take you on a pretty cool route. So I'll keep trying it. I'll keep reporting back on it. So okay, guys, let's go see what rural Indiana in February, I think it's February now, is like. So stay tuned. Now here's something kind of interesting. We've got
It's like a... What is this? Is this elks? Elk? Elks. This is like an elk farm. You'd never see a rack like that out in the wild, I don't think. I think that's just a product of being in captivity. Oh, he got up. Look at him. Majestic creature. You're being annoying. Move. Move. The fog is thickening.
Turn right onto East County Road 600 South.
Gives it some mystique. I keep seeing these signs. The birthplace of Wilbur Wright Museum. We'll see if we go by there. And if so, I'll stop and show you guys around a little bit. I haven't eaten anything yet. I've been up since probably 5:30 and it's 10 now. And I'm looking for like a farm that sells meat or eggs, or there is Amish around here. I've been seeing the signs, so maybe someone will have a sign out. It is, let's see, it's not Sunday. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for some good food, but if I can't find it pretty soon, I'm going to have to break down and stop at a store or something. And we found it. Is it one of the Wilbur Wright birthplace? Let's go see if they're open. It looks like they're closed, but I bet you we can gather up some information. If birds can fly, why can't man? Share with us Wilbur's life and dreams. Here Wilbur became aware of the wonderful things of nature, such as birds and butterflies. Someday I will fly like them. I'm not seeing any signs that say we can't go and look around outside, at least. Well, this was hidden back here. Let's see what this is. I'll read this to you real quick. Success at last. This is possibly the most famous aviation picture of all time. It was taken at 10:35 a.m., which is roughly what it is right now, today, December 17th, 1903, and shows Orville at the controls. Wilbur running alongside to balance. The machine on the monorail had just let go of the right wing. That's the museum, guys, if you ever come back here during the tourist season. Let's see what this says. Wilbur Wright, April 16th, 1867 to May 30th, 1912. So he was 53, 50. He was only 55 years old when he died. A short life full of consequences, an unfailing intellect, imperturbable temper, great self-reliance, and as great modesty, seeing the right clearly, pursuing it steadily, he lived and died. Bishop Milton Wright. Journal entry by his father, May 30th, 1912. Gotta catch all the monuments here. Birthplace of Wilbur Wright, April 16th, 1867 to May 30th, 1912. Co-inventor of the airplane with his brother Orville. He began studying flight in 1896, built his first model airplane in 1899, began gliding in 1900, and achieved first successful powered flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, December 17th, 1903. That museum building is pretty big. I'm guessing there'd be a lot of cool stuff to see if you came here when they're open. I'll tell you guys something really quick. So, I grew up in a little town in Northern California called Grass Valley, California. And I went to an elementary school, or middle school. It was middle school, Lyman Gilmore School. And I bet most people don't know that name. And I wouldn't either, other than I went to the school. And on the front of our school was a guy in an airplane, very much like the Wright brothers here. And there's I don't know if it's ever been confirmed or not. I'll look into it. I'll put a couple pictures in here, and I'll put maybe an article or something. But he supposedly, Lyman Gilmore, flew before the Wright brothers, and he didn't get credit for it. Though I think a lot of people kind of debate whether it really happened or not. I looked into it once, and there's just not a lot of proof. He didn't leave a lot of proof. I think there might have been a fire at his building where he built the plane, and so that might have destroyed some of the proof, right? So no one knows for sure, but it's kind of interesting. Lyman Gilmore, if you like this kind of stuff, look up his name. It's pretty, it's like alternative history. All right, let's go. Load up, let's go. Up. Yeah, I think if I... Now, don't get me wrong, guys. These are very interesting places.
Continue on North County Road 750 East for 1 mile.
But if I was born and raised here, I'd probably be having dreams of flying away. Also, here, let me turn the phone around. I read Stephen King's autobiography. I think it's called On Writing. And he talked about how he does all his writing in the basement and up against a brick wall. He doesn't want to have any distractions, nothing kind of, he doesn't want to have a nice view out the window because he'll just sit there and stare at it all day. So he purposely, finds the most uninspiring place to do his writing, and then it forces him, I guess, I'm putting words in his mouth a little bit, but, kind of forces him to go inward and use his creativity. And it kind of reminds me of around here. It's like I could see the Wright brothers just looking around. They're like cornfields for as far as the eye can see, and fog and winter, and they're just like, the birds get to fly away. Why don't we get to fly away? Man, the bicycle route's getting a little rough here. That bridge was just about to fall down back there. Okay, guys, I have discovered one of the pitfalls of telling Google that you're on a bicycle is that occasionally you come across a bicycle path, an actual one. It looks like there's quite a few here in Indiana. You might be able to even cross the entire state, is my guess, because it's so flat, and there's probably like reclaimed railroad grades. So now I have to put it back to a car, but this is old Highway 35 north, so we'll jump on that for a bit. We finally came across one of these self-serve spots at the end of a farm driveway. Let's go see what's in there. It does say it's open. Hopefully there's something in there. And they're filming me too. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my wallet. All right, guys, so it's all pork. This must be a pig farm. Every single one of them is pork. And Nancy said don't eat pork. She gave me some good biblical reasons not to, so I would adhere to it. I'll keep looking. And of course they're out of cookies. Maybe we'll go up the driveway and see if anyone's home, if they got some other kind of meat. I don't know where I can find anybody. They do have some lamb. Maybe they got some lamb meat. Well, guys, I couldn't find anybody on that farm, so we'll just keep looking. There's the right idea. Just all I had was pork, and it was frozen solid too, so it would have been really hard to eat anytime soon.
And just like that, every adventure eventually has to come to an end. So we headed north and home to the UP of Michigan, I gotta admit, it always feels good to get home to the UP. Can't wait for summer. We turned up the heat and settled in for a while, but we're back out on an adventure. We're saving another boat. That's coming soon. You'll see. We also do some more Nosy Beagle interviews with some really cool shanty boat captains. Those are coming up too. So why don't you just continue to stick around, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Continue to keep this. He's going to be around.
Weren't we talking about sending our dogs down the river right
Yeah, yeah. So this is actually going to be Wavey and Yagi's houseboat build.
They've fallen in love.
Yeah.
Wavey's in love for the first time in her life.